Hey guys, it's Mike from Just Car People Things. We are working in our garage right now. We're doing some of the updates we had talked about. We bought the rest of our floor for Christmas. A lot of this stuff's going to be going in shortly here. And from there, we are ditching this nasty laundry tub. We've had this since we moved in. It's been here. It's got a little piece of plexiglass kind of shielding things. And it just is ugly. It's dirty. I can't get it ever clean. These things are brand new with the full kit, around $150. I'm pulling that out now. We're going to get rid of that. We got to keep our water heater underneath because we've got a little 3 or 4 gallon, 5 gallon water heater underneath. And we'll be able to pull all those items away and replace it with what we just bought. So trying to trip over all the junk we're working on here. And we just picked up this nice stainless sink. This was used. It was on Facebook Marketplace. It was a couple $100. So for maybe 50 to 100 bucks more than you'd pay for that ugly piece of plastic, we bought this nice stainless steel sink. It's used, but it's in good shape. The legs, I need to order for it because I need the right height legs for it. But essentially, this has this drain board in it. It's got a nice big basin. There's a faucet that wall mounts up there, comes through, and we'll be able to hook all this up and drop it here into the corner. So one of the things we're doing right now is just starting the initial disassembly. This piece right here has been held on by these kind of big long bolts, and I don't know why they were necessary, but you know, this is gonna fight with me because it's plastic. So maybe we can get this guy out here. Woo! All right, well, I'm gonna keep monkeying away here at removing some of these items and kind of get the sink prepped to come out, and then we're gonna go from there. But wanted you guys to be able to tune in, see some of the things we're working on in the garage. We're trying to clean, we're trying to organize. We are coming into the new year. We've got our fridge all in the way, and we'll come through and get all our flooring cut and in, and then get this all pieced together over the next few days. Well, all right, guys, we are back here today working on our sink, and we're very excited to be working on the sink here because this thing is nasty. We finished out the floor in the garage. Everything looks really, really nice and really cool in here, and things are coming along. We were working on the Tundra earlier today. And now we're back trying to get rid of this kind of ugly thing. And our furnace drain, which you hear our furnace just kicked on in there, drains out through the wall here, down this little pipe, 3/4 inch pipe, and out into the basin. Well, this is a much lower basin, and when you buy one of these from Home Depot, you're going to notice that it's typically about 32 inches tall, 33 inches tall, 33 inches tall, right there. Now, when you jump over to this guy and you look at where the base of that leg is right there, this is closer to 38 or 9 inches tall. So this is much taller. So when you're working, especially for me, who's a taller guy, that puts my workspace right here rather than right here. And that's a big deal for those of us with long arms. If you've got a bad back and you're working in this sink, for me to work in this sink, I've got to bend probably almost 30 or 40 degrees to reach down to what's in the bottom of this sink. That sink basin is just as deep. If it's 6 inches taller, I only have to reach down to right here. I don't even have to bend. That's just the tips of my fingers when I'm standing. So it really makes life easier. That's part of why we're getting rid of this, in addition to it's ugly. This sink's loose right now. All the plumbing's disconnected in the back except for the sink drain, which you can see, or the furnace drain, and for that purpose, so that the furnace could keep draining over the last few days while I waited for some parts and had a chance to get to Home Depot. So what we're going to do, I bought a trap system, one of these snappy traps, which are kind of cool items. It's just going to make life a lot easier with this water heater, this 6-gallon water heater under here, to be able to have that flexibility you get with the hose with one of these. It's a few more bucks. They do meet code. They're smooth inside. It's kind of a trick little system. But the thing that drew my eye to it also was that it's got a knockout for a dishwasher drain. And so I actually got a street elbow here, which is like a male-female elbow for this guy. So that is going to get cut back a little bit. That elbow is going to go on there. And then I have a dishwasher drain kit, and that will snake its way around underneath. So it will drain probably a lot like this when you look at it underneath. So that will be able to plumb into right there. It's basically a little knockout plug, a little cap to be able to feed into, and that will let us put the dishwasher drain kit and allow us to use that tubing and be able to go through and go the whole way around back into this, which I think works out really, really well. So this will just connect to one end, this will connect to the other right here, and we'll be good to go. So that's kind of the little novel solution we came up with. We'll have to cut this shorter, but when you look here, we've got about 2.5 inches I measured last night of space. So as long as I cut this back, you know, relatively close, we'll glue that on and we'll be able to run it around and get it down to that pipe down underneath and get it all set to go. So that being said, I'll probably in the immediate term cut this real quick, get it temporarily plumbed outbound just into a bucket right here, just the spare bucket, and that will let us sort of work on the project to be able to move this around and sort of get everything situated underneath with how it's supposed to look and how I think it should feel. So with that, we're going to do some hustling and moving around and probably a little bit of fighting here just to get this cut. And I want to throw my ear protection on because it's probably going to be loud. I'll use my oscillating tool to cut it, and that is the loudest and most annoying noise imaginable. And we'll get that cut and then get it plumbed away and show you a little bit about once everything gets fitted and kind of how it looks like when it's a little closer. Well, we are back, and we've managed to get the old sink out. You can see we've had the walls painted and where the old sink was. Thankfully, all that stuff will be kind of hidden and covered with the new one. This is the dishwasher drain setup. It's not finalized yet. I haven't sealed this yet with cement to glue these together with the purple primer and the cement like you see on our actual drain down here. But this is set up now, so at least while I'm working on this, if our furnace, which it's winter here, drains, I won't end up wearing it, which actually happened last week when I started on this project. But this will be how it works, that this flows around back to the trap over here and is set up underneath, and that will allow us to basically have that drain flow without having to fight with cutting a hole in our nice new shiny cool sink. So with that being said, I'm going to come through and probably place the new sink. So I've got, this is my hot water coming out of the hot water tank right down here. This is my cold water coming up off of our cold water that's coming out of the house. You can see that's a big PEX line with a shut off. I have it off right now because I don't want to be wearing it. This was added later, and it's just a hose bib. So I'm going to see how this fits. We may need to go to a longer pipe ultimately here with the hose bib as we're working on this. But the other thing I noticed, and when we got the floor in, is that this is some small gauge, looks like PEX, 2 pieces of it, and the water heater was resting on both of these. It was actually stacked almost like kind of like that underneath with it sitting on there. And what I've since determined is this was to keep it off the concrete floor because moisture comes through concrete and they didn't want the bottom of the water heater, you know, potentially getting wet or rotting out or rusting. Smart call, probably a good plumbing trick, maybe something plumbers out there do, I didn't know. But now that we're on the nice race deck and we're probably not having that go anywhere anytime soon, I don't think we need these anymore because we're already off that concrete and we're not going to have water pooling underneath it should something go awry. So I'm going to put those in the trash bag right here and probably get rid of those. That also buys me another ½ inch or so above to again help me get the plumbing in and sort of make this all look correct by the time we're done. So that's where we're at so far. We used the most annoying tool in the world to trim that down and got a big chunk of that off, and now we're inside. We have 2.5 inches inside, and that puts us right under 2.5 inches. So this flange right here, the way that sticks out, it will probably clock in right under this, hopefully right here, and it will all fit. Fingers crossed. I'm only so good with one of these tape measures, which by the way, you should buy one of these. These Milwaukee ones are absolutely fantastic. They work really well. So I'm gonna lift this up. I'm gonna get it into sort of set into place where I want it to sit. And then we're gonna kind of go from there on next steps and where the next part of our project takes us. Okay guys, we're getting a little bit closer here to completing our project. And right now, the way we've got it set is we've got the sink set into place. I just realized I need longer supply lines, so I'm waiting on those to come in the mail. They'll be here tomorrow. In the meantime, I've done a little bit of just kind of fitting this all into place, sort of making sure it sits where I want it to sit, and everything looks kind of right in terms of where it's going to need to be drilled to get drilled into the wall. Once that's secured into the wall, it'll be nice and steady. It's not going to move. You know, even though the legs are a little wobbly, and obviously without it secured, if you put much weight on this side, it will tip over. So you have to screw one of these to the wall. I have taken a quick hot second to go through and mark where my studs are here for drilling. And I've also grabbed my drill here, drill bit, to be able to just punch some holes. This shouldn't be too hard. I'm going to spare you guys having to watch this because it's going to be horribly loud when I go to do it. But that will allow us to screw into the wall, probably sink 3 or 4 lag bolts across the top. On a good news note, this guy actually lined up perfectly, so I don't have to worry about drilling another hole there. This is going to be open over here. There is not a stud. Flies, apparently. There's not a stud here to screw into, so we're just not going to screw those on. But the bracket will be flush against the wall, which will give you additional stability. So I think it'll be fine. 3 lag bolts into the wall plus the legs. This thing's not going to hopefully be going anywhere. Fingers crossed there. But wanted to just give the quick update now that I've got it fitted. I'm going to end up moving this back around to the back once all the drain gets plumbed underneath. But those supply lines have to come in the mail. Just totally foolish moment. I got, God, look how ugly this stupid old thing is. But this is the supply lines, and these are simply not long enough because they have to go from right here. They only get you about the bottom of the basin. They're not long enough to get you to the plumbing underneath. So I got much longer ones that are, these are 20. You can actually get 36s. I got 36s. They're almost for like a washing machine, dishwasher. And those will work great. So that said, we'll continue on the project here and drill some holes. All right, folks, we're back here on our sink install project, our new nice stainless sink install. Got it fitted kind of where I want it. Just went through and back here plumbed up all of our supply lines, our new 36-inch supply lines. The 20s we had before were too short. So that's all now good down here, and I think we are in good shape to now mount this to the wall. Obviously, your access is very limited underneath once this is against the wall. So we'll now mount to the wall. I've drilled some additional holes, kind of burned through the steel a little bit here, and further down, I think 2 lag bolts into the wall and then a couple screws into the studs in the corner will probably do it. Once that gets all connected, we'll be able to plumb the drain underneath once it's kind of in its final location. So really happy with how things are coming together so far, and appreciate you guys checking in a little bit further into the video. Well, folks, here we are with the completion of our install of our new sink. Everything worked out great. It's leveled out really nicely. It's draining properly. I went through and scrubbed everything down a little bit. I liked it. Turns out the faucet even lets you hang your little scrub brush right there, so that worked out really cool. Our furnace drain ended up shaking out really well too. We got this all set up down here so it works and flows out the correct way, and it isn't leaking. So that's the best part about this, is we've got water. So that said, we appreciate you guys tuning in, appreciate you subscribing, liking, everything else. We'll throw our dad advice in at the end, even though we're not dads, which is to do this stuff yourself. If you'd have paid a plumber to do this, it probably would have cost you $300 or $400 minimum just to get it all plumbed, plus the cost of the sink. All in, we are at less than about $325 on this project. The nicest plastic laundry tub at Home Depot we saw the other day was 199 bucks. I know I mentioned that before. So big price delta on doing this yourself, and glad you guys could tune in and join and see a little bit of the work that's going on, even with the randomness of us putting our vacuum cleaner up there, because that's where we had room for it. So that said, cheers guys, have a great day.